The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Kennewick, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 31208. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the face of the bumper, you'll find on the driver's side an air horn. Just to the side of that, you'll find your electronic siren PA speaker. Moving up onto the bumper, you'll find two tub storage wells, this one which houses a pre-connected line, and the next one which is tubbed storage. Moving on to the side of the bumper, you'll find a side-facing emergency light. Moving further back onto the body, you'll find your air auto eject. And then you'll find just beneath that your auto eject shore power inlet. Moving up from that location, a marker light. As we move up onto the face of the body, we're going to find your headlight system. The inner headlight is the high beam and the outer is the low beam. Moving to the side, you'll find your turn arrow. Moving up onto the body under the windshield, you'll find a forward-facing emergency light. And on the sides, you're going to find your door latches, which are keyed. In addition, just above those door latches at points of entry, you'll find your grab handle, and up at the very top, a side-facing floodlight. Down at the very bottom in the wheel, in the center, you'll find your Stemco hub. This is a visual indicator. Looking at the side of the apparatus once again, side-facing emergency light, and moving up from that location, a better image here of the turn indicator. Let's take a look at the tubbed storage location. You can see the swivel 1.5" discharge port and then the tubbed storage in the center. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the close-up image of the air eject and also your shore power inlet. Let's move to the side of the apparatus. Inside the side compartment, you'll find an adjustable shelf, LED lighting, and also 12-volt access. We'll now move around to the pump side of the apparatus, which is the driver's side, starting in the upper left-hand corner. This is going to be a 2.5" discharge with a gauge. Moving to the right, the Pierce American Flag Eagle is your large diameter intake. And at the very top, you'll find a warning regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards, and also an entanglement warning. Once again, driver's side number 1 discharge, 2.5". Moving down to the very lower section, you'll find your driver's side auxiliary inlet, 2.5". Down in the lower left, you'll find your draft foam tank inlet. And at the very bottom, you'll find the associated drains, which are clearly identified. Moving to the midsection of your apparatus, you're going to find it in this area, roll-up door. You'll find additional hose storage location, EMS backboard storage, and in the lower section, you'll find your speed loads with the ability to remove those speed loads for loading of the hose. Let's take a close-up here. You'll find this latch at the lower section. This is the release mechanism to allow the speed load to be removed. Upper section, you're also going to find a pull strap for that roll-up door. We're now going to start with the pump panel. We'll talk a little bit about it starting in the upper left-hand corner, first with your Pierce maintenance schedule. This is your test schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi at a governed speed of 1,980. You can see the associated GPMs and RPMs associated with those psi. Let's move just to the right of this location. We'll find your master intake gauge. Moving to the right in the gray area also, you'll find your master discharge. In between those two in the same gray area, you'll find your test ports for vacuum and pressure. They currently have plugs. Moving all the way to the very far right side, you'll find this amber indicator regarding a PCM fault. And just beneath that, you'll find your audible speaker, which is adjustable. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pump housing area here. We're going to start first with the upper section. This is going to be your front discharge. Moving to the right, you'll find your number 1, number 2 crosslays, driver's side rear crosslay, passenger rear inboard, and passenger rear outboard. Moving to the right, we're going to find your Pierce throttle pressure governor and also water tank indicator. Moving down from this location, at the very upper left-hand corner, you're going to find your rear inlet open and close. Moving down from that location, this is your Husky 3 foam system specifications and also instructions. In the red is the Husky foam system module. Moving to the right is your foam A-tank. Moving all the way to the very far right, just beneath the caution label, is your pull for prime. There is a caution label here regarding at least 1,000 RPMs to activate your primer. Just beneath that, you're going to find your large diameter discharge. This is an electronic valve. And just down from that, you'll find an additional electronic valve for your passenger side. Moving back over to the left-hand side, you'll find your tank fill recirculating line. And moving to the right, your tank to pump. Moving down in the center, you'll find your electronic valve for your deluge discharge. We'll move down to the lower section. This is your primer drain and also a caution label here regarding the mixture of foam contents. We'll take a look behind the access door here next, but there's also all of your drains associated with color and labeling. Let's take a look on the left side of the apparatus, first starting with the driver's side flood, passenger side floodlight, driver's side scene light, and passenger side scene light. There are also 2 future locations for additional switch plates. Let's take a look inside that access panel. Once you've accessed the door, you're going to find your foam leave the valve handle in the horizontal position for operations, and to fill, move the handle to a vertical position. Also located here is your manual pump shift override, which is a protected switch behind the red, and an amber indicator. Underneath this area, you're going to find your tank drain. Let's move to the outer section of the body. First in this compartment, bottle storage location. Moving to the opposite end or just behind the rear wheel, you'll find additional bottle storage with a strap, a blue DEF fill location, blue, 4.5 US gallons, and your silver diesel fuel fill location. Let's move up just above the rear wheel. You'll find an additional lift compartment, and this is pegboarded for additional tool assortment. Moving to the very rear section, this is going to be your rear inlet. There's also additional storage and an adjustable shelf on the top section, which are fixed, and at the very bottom, a pull-out style shelf. Underneath this location, you'll find the rear inlet air bleed. Moving to the rear section of the apparatus, let's take a generalized view here just to get a sense of where things are located. Let's start first with the large diameter inlet. This is going to be located on the left-hand side of the vehicle rear, and then there's also a set of switches just next to it. First, the hose bed lights and also the rear scene lights. Moving just up from this location, you'll find your ladder storage location. There is a 24-foot ladder and a 14-foot roof. Moving just slightly right and slightly above the lower portion of your hose bed, you'll find your driver's side 2.5-inch discharge, and then 2 additional discharges on the passenger side, an inner and outer discharge. You're also going to find, because there is hose in this area, there's the possibility of entanglement. Therefore, there is a warning label located here. And as we move down into the cap area, underneath those discharges, you'll find a pressurized cap warning of those caps possibly being under pressure. Let's move to the compartment just above the ladders. You'll find your 10-foot folding ladder and also additional long working tools. Located in the lower roll-up door, you'll find 2 shelves, both pull-out style with LED lighting. Once again, looking at the section with the 2.5-inch rear discharges. Looking up into the center area of the hose bed, you can see that there is adjustable hose bed dividers. Now moving to the right-hand side of the vehicle or passenger side, let's go ahead and move all the way up to the very top of the apparatus. First, in this area, you'll find your water tank fill and also your foam fill. This is going to be your water top fill. Moving to the right of this location is where you'll find your foam fill location. This is also a latched top access door. Moving forward of that location, you're going to find in this diamond plated area hydraulic reservoir and hydraulic pump for foam, your deluge. To the right hand side, an additional electronic valve for controlling that deluge. Here's a close-up of that. Let's take another look here at the foam reservoir. You can see this is the location for the hydraulic fill. To the right hand side at the top you're going to find, and also on the left, you'll find a no step area, and then you'll also find your air conditioning unit at the very top and a work light at the bottom. Looking from the front to the rear section, you'll find 2 latches on the top of your fully enclosed hose bed. You'll also find 4 additional access points for lifting that hose bed, and then around the perimeter of this area for safety, there is additional reflective tape at the very top to ensure firefighter safety. Let's now look at the passenger side rear compartment. You can see a fixed adjustable shelf and also pull-out shelves at the bottom. Midsection, you'll find an additional pegboard and a shelf. Looking down at those lower compartments, access door here for bottle storage, 2 bottles here with straps, and moving to the forward position, bottle storage with adjustable straps here for securing those bottles. We're now in the very front compartment. You can see that there is an adjustable shelves and also pull-out drop-down shelves. In the lower right corner, you're going to find the cab lift location and the controls for that. We're back to that midsection here, same configuration as the opposite side. And as we look at the panel itself, once again, we're going to find a warning label regarding pressurized caps and also entanglement. Down at the Pierce logo with the American flag eagle, large diameter intake. Moving down from that location, the 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Let's take a closer look at the right side. This is going to be the number 2.5-inch discharge, and you'll also find, because this is an electronic valve, there is also an override right next to it. As we move down from that location in green, we're going to find the large diameter discharge. This is going to be the override associated with that discharge. And at the very bottom, you're going to find additional drains. Let's move just to the left of this location. Once again, passenger side auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch. Let's take a look inside the cab. First at the hinge point, you're going to find an additional method to assist firefighters into the cab with this red strap, and also additional information here regarding the use of seat belts and additional warning labels on all points of entry. Let's take a generalized look inside the cab. This is from the passenger side looking in. You can see 2 closely mounted SCBA seats in the center, and also you'll find box lights on the left and right side, and also your headsets. Located in the center is the heater and the controls for that heater. Located down at the very bottom, you're going to find the fan control and also temperature control. Moving overhead of the firefighters, just in front, you'll find your air conditioning vents and also control for those fan speeds. As we look forward, you'll find an access door next to the passenger seat. In this access door, this is for your daily checks for oil and also transmission. Looking in the compartment here, you'll find additional lighting and also an adjustable shelf. On the driver's side, you'll find your auto charger in use when it's plugged into shore power, and the associated output down at the very bottom. Located in between that area, you're going to find your main system for your David Clark headphones. And we'll take a generalized view into the cab. Once again, driver's side and passenger side, all doors have these warning labels. In addition, on this side, you'll find a grab handle for accessing inside the cab. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, airbags in the front, and at the very base, you're going to find a push-button electronic siren. Moving up onto the dash, you're going to find your computer location. And as we look overhead, you're going to find your push-on, push-off red and white lights. And I'd like to direct your attention to the center of the red light. This is indicating your doors are open or ajar. Also over the driver and over the passenger, you'll find an intense reading light. Located in the center, your PA system and also your main unit radio. Additional David Clark headsets for the passenger and also the operator. Located from the front looking to the back, we're looking back at the SCBA seats. Those are center mounted, 2 locations for those storage spots. Generalized view here from the driver's side looking inward. There is also a compartment. There are also red seat belts for indication for visual identifying if someone is wearing their belts. As we look inside the driver's side, once again, we're going to find those warning labels on each point of entry. There are some additional warning labels here, caution and warning, and also a placard for using your seat belts. Moving to the right at about right ankle height, you'll find this placard. This is the manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing. It has information regarding the date of manufacture, job number, gross vehicle weight rating, VIN number, and also fluid capacities for the components, types of fluid capacities, and also the amounts. Let's look down at the very base of the operator seat. This is your auto charger when plugged into shore power. Just behind that, you're going to find the access fill for your windshield wipers. And as we look to the forward section here, you'll find your brake treadle and also your accelerator. On the left knee area from the operator, you're going to find this audible speaker. And moving to the right, you're going to find in green the engine and ABS diagnostic port. Down at the lower section, this is going to be your command zone diagnostic port. And in the gray, you're going to find the diagnostic cap here for the SRS transmission diagnostics. Let's move up from this location. Master battery switch in red and also a grab handle on the left. Let's look at the dash components first, starting with the ignition, panel dim, headlights, and a start switch. Let's go ahead and move all the way up to the upper right hand corner. You can see just a slight bit of yellow on that. This is going to be the placard inside the cab on the dash regarding from Pierce Manufacturing, the height of 10 feet, 3.5 inches, length of 33.1.75 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 24.40 tons. There's also the job number in the lower left. Generalized view here of the dash. Let's take a look at some of those components. Starting across the bottom, you have your transmission temp, oil, DEF level, fuel, front air, and rear air. Moving up to the next set, you're going to find your water temperature, tachometer, speedometer, and volts. Let's move just to the right of this location and the lower section. We're going to find a couple of switches in this area for load manager, OK to engage the high idle and also your high idle, and some future switch locations. In the upper right hand corner, we're going to find illuminated indications if we need anything adjusted or notified. This is that area here for notification. Let's take a generalized view here of the side of the dash area, first starting in the upper left-hand corner with your climate control. We'll talk a little bit about these switches here and identify what they're for. We'll talk a little bit about your Pierce command zone in the upper right-hand corner. We're also going to look at your parking brake, pull to apply your system parking brake, push to release. And then we'll talk a little bit about your Allison transmission pad. And as we move further to the right-hand side, we're going to find at the top all of your mirror controls. Moving down from that location near the cup holder, you'll find your traffic advisor. And then just beneath that, we'll talk about these 12-volt access points. Let's first go all the way back where the climate control is and start with that set of switches just underneath that. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, this is your stationary OK to pump while rolling. You also have a water pump and a foam system switch, future switch, DPF regen, and also your DPF regen inhibit, which is the red switch. In the lower section, engine brake for on and off, setting for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, an indicator for SRS fault, off-road traction, and also your mirror heat. Up above, this is going to be your climate control and defrost and air conditioning. To the right, this is your Pierce Information Center. Tremendous amount of information here right at the touch of your fingers. Please see the owner's manual for more information. Down in the lower right-hand corner of the operator, you'll find a pump in neutral for your Allison transmission, and then your pull to apply, system parking brake, and push to release. Let's move slightly to the right-hand side. We're going to find your traffic advisor, and just beneath that traffic advisor, you're going to find 12-volt access barrel and USB. In the upper corner, you're going to find a push to talk for your headset for the operator, and at the very back half of this location, you're going to find the main mirror controls and convex mirror controls. Let's go ahead and go overhead and take a look at some of the controls here. This is going to be a set of controls located on the driver's side, and we'll talk about those next. First, starting with the emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning. The next set down, you're going to find your lower rear warning, upper rear warning, your opticom, and also your perimeter lighting, which is currently lit because the door is open. Let's move to the right-hand side of this location. Electronic siren, air horn, driver's side scene, passenger side scene. The next set down, we're going to find the rear scene, a future switch, driver's side flood, and passenger side flood. To the right of that, we're going to find a digital readout for your pump pressure. Congratulations, Kennewick, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 31208. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or further questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you, congratulations, and good luck with your new apparatus.